Welcome back to episode 106 of
Mm,
the Purple Rain podcast. A big episode, the mock
big
draft
episode.
episode. I
Yeah.
am super excited. I'm not going to mince any words. We're just getting into it.
Yeah.
I'm Simply AS10. That is Sutton Def. And that right
Yes.
there is my good friend, our good friend, Jason from at Huddle Up Films. Gonna be honest, I thought I knew a lot about football until I talked to this guy. He knows a lot more than me. I don't like saying that, but knows way a lot more than me. So really, really special to have him on here. Gonna bring his insight in the draft because I can speak for both me and Sutton. He knows a lot more about this draft than both of us.
Yeah.
But you can just find us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. And
Yeah.
where can they find you at, Jason? Just let them know.
Sure, I'm on YouTube right with you guys. Huddled Up Films, easy search. And then on Twitter, there's my Twitter handle. Let's see if I can get this right. That'd be that way at Huddle Up Films on Twitter. So try to stay involved. And my channel is different than what Alex does on his highlight channel. These guys do. Alex has he's a lot better than me at like the graphics and all that stuff. I mean, he's top of the food chain. Let's face it.
Oh
Mine's
yeah.
more like informative. I'll just string the plays together as I see that fit for certain players and put together different kind of videos. I call them highlight videos, Alex. You can understand that's what people search, but they're more just like very basic and just stringing a bunch of plays together. So if you want to study up on a player, I rock out to Alex's videos though too. So it's just different styles, man. So I enjoy everybody in the community and everything everybody brings to the table, man. Football is family. That's my thing. I live it. It's just, made a lot of friends from a lot of different places and a lot of different parts of the country playing sports, man. So that's part of what I love. It brings us together. So happy to be here, guys.
Yeah.
Happy
Yeah.
to have you.
We appreciate you for coming through to this episode 106 of the Purple Rain podcast. Like my guy said, a
Impressive.
very, very special episode. This is actually the Patrick Queen episode yet again. Big shout out to our guy Patrick Queen. This episode is dedicated to him. Another thing too, you guys see we have the special guest in here tonight. If you do want to go ahead and check out his channel, make sure you just scroll down. The link to his channel is in the description on this video.
Sweet.
So yeah, go ahead and check him out. But yeah, like you guys see in the thumbnail, like you guys see in the title, tonight we are doing a 3-round mock draft for the 2022 NFL draft, which is in less than 2 weeks. It really pulled up quick, didn't it?
Looking forward to it though. Can't
Oh
wait.
my goodness, yeah. Can't wait. But before we get into any of that, we would be remiss if we did not bring the live chat on the screen. We got Mod K-Dog in the house, says, yo, what's good, Rain Gang family, on this very wet Monday. Draft is just days away. Yeah, it's very cold and rainy outside. I don't
Doesn't
like it.
April.
Yeah. K-Dog and Alex and Sutton, if you see water start pouring in behind me, I'm in the basement, bro. I'm in the basement. This is my man cave. So if we have a problem, I'm just going to go through it. It's just a mock draft. I mean, we got to get our priorities straight. I can clean up the basement later.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, we got our guy Void in the house. What's going on, Void? Jonathan Washington Jr. says, what's up, Rain Gang?
Yo.
I see Don C in the house. What's going on, Don C?
Come on, bro.
Says, hit that like, everybody. Oh, yeah. Make sure you go ahead and hit the like button. Before we get into anything else, smash that like button if you're in here. We'd appreciate it. It helps us out a ton. Simply as 10 with the shout out as well. Like the video. We got our guy. Dylan Paul in the house says, what up, boys? What's going on, Dylan? Appreciate you for coming through. Mod Boz in the house. Mod Boz, appreciate you. What's going on, bro? Darius, the official. Rain Gang, what's good, bros? What's going on, Darius? It's been a long time. I haven't seen Darius in a little while. Hasn't it?
Welcome back.
I feel like it's been
Welcome
an
back,
episode or
Darius.
two.
It's been a little bit.
Yeah. DLC in the house. Gerald, G Money in the building says, greetings,
Gerald,
PRP
hey.
gang. What's going on, man? We appreciate you for coming through. Black Daniels in the house. My guy Black Daniels says, Rain
Sweet.
Gang. Dre in the house. The whole Rain Gang. Yolanda is here. King, my guy King is here too. Yeah, I see you guys. Chris Reed, Tanja Bowman, Lawrence Trent. You guys are all in here tonight. Kevin Wright. I'm not missing anybody. Tonight. But we appreciate all of you guys for coming through to this episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Now, if you're not listening or watching live, that's okay. And you're part of the hashtag replay gang. We appreciate you guys just as much. Make sure you guys leave your comments down below on whatever you're thinking about this video. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything. Leave it down below. We appreciate the Rain Gang and the replay gang here.
Yes.
All right. So, like we said, we came here tonight to do a mock draft. So, damn it, let's do it, fellas.
Let's
Why
do it.
not? Right? Let's do it.
Sweet.
All right. So, I got it pulled up here. I'm going to add it to the stream so you guys can see. Now, we're doing this on the, this is the mock draft machine on the Draft Network. as you guys can see here. And we're doing a 3-round mock. We're going to do it at normal speed, manual, so we're picking all of our players and everything. So yeah, let's just go ahead and
Same
get
thing we
into
used
it.
last year, if you remember. So
Yeah.
let's run it back.
So right off the bat, you can see it's already going. It's
Oh
already
my
going.
gosh. Evan,
So
you're going
we'll wait
first.
until the Ravens are on the clock, and then we'll review kind of what's happened already and who's off the board.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
number one, definitely a little bit of surprise, but
definitely a
little bit of
surprise there. Oh,
Yeah,
for
they
sure.
just paid Cam Robinson to be their left tackle for some reason. Cam Robinson. I don't watch all the Jags games, so I can't say for sure. But if you look at his gradings in the game that I think they're pretty set on left tackle. I would think that Jacksonville goes for an edge rusher in that draft in that spot. We've seen Hutchinson to them go a lot, so
Yeah, that seems to be the general consensus for sure. But I mean, we know that the top 4, 5, 6 players, it was going to be this group of guys, right? So you got Aiden Hutchinson, Sauce Gardner. Probably he was projected mainly to go around 7, 8, 9, somewhere around there. These are no surprises though. Ikem Ekwonu, Kyle Hamilton, like we see all these. Trayvon Walker, those guys.
at least
are
we
gonna
got a
be on.
quarterback in there, though, Sutton. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, what do you think about that? I mean, Malik Willis. Do you guys really believe in the hype on Malik Willis right now?
I know Yet's Boz's. Yet's Boz right now will be punching the air. 100%.
I
He's all in
for
right.
for Malik, to me, like I didn't study the quarterbacks because it takes a lot of time, and we have LJ, of course, so we're not drafting one. But just looking at the drills and all that other stuff, he's got some kind of it factor to him in his physical skills, his mental makeup, all the things that they talk about. That I think that if you're going to draft one, Malik's got the best shot of being a franchise, not better than a franchise quarterback, like one of these guys that can compete with the Lamars, the Mahomes, the Allens. Whereas the other guys seem to me like solid starters, game manager types. If I had to pick one, just in my ignorant stance, it would be Malik, just for his upside. So you're going to probably see that on draft day, I would imagine, guys. Don't you figure that with at least one of the quarterbacks, somebody's going to jump on one?
I think, yeah, I was thinking Steelers all the way. But Panthers, I mean, because I know they're interested in Baker now. I saw
Yeah.
that even though Ron Harrison hates it, that's definitely something to keep your eye on. But him going 6 would be a little bit of a surprise to me, personally.
Oh yeah,
We
Me
can
too.
hope for it, though.
for sure. And
I
I've
hope so.
I've actually heard that his comp is Josh Allen. Like people are comparing him to like a Josh Allen type or archetype of player, which is the same thing that they did with Trey Lance last year. But
Mm.
I don't know. We'll see. Malik Willis, he intrigues me. Definitely intrigues me.
Yeah.
So we'll see on that.
Yeah, he can run, but he is more of a Josh Allen style runner than a Lamar runner. He's a big, powerful, like a Cam runner or Josh Allen type runner. But he's got a cannon too. But Josh Allen's arm is probably, I mean, it's tough to get better than that kid's arm.
Another thing I want to ask you guys before we get to the Ravens pick, you guys can see Sauce Gardner going at number 3 right there to the Texans. Do you foresee on draft night Sauce Gardner actually going higher up than expected?
I do. I think the questions with Stingley about his effort, and then he had the Liz Frank injury, and then he hasn't been dominant since 2019 when Patrick Queen and him won the national title. So I think that there's actually a little gap, not a big gap, but a little gap between Sauce and Stingley. So
Okay.
one of those corners is going to go before the Ravens. And if I had to guess, I think it's Sauce. I would say he goes in the top 5. Better chance that he goes in the top 5 than he does like 6 through 10 or 6 through 13 or whatever.
Yeah, if I'm betting money, Sauce is going to end up in New York. Don't know what team, but I think he's going to end up in New York. Either the Giants or the Jets. So either 4 or 5 for me.
The other cool thing, guys, I wanted to interrupt with is that remember Wink is at the Giants. So we know what kind of defenders he likes. You know what I mean? I could see Kyle Hamilton in a Giants uniform for that. Can you imagine Kyle Hamilton blitzing and then playing the back end and then playing in the box, like kind of what they did with Elliott a little bit here? And
We play the Giants this year too. Can't wait.
yeah, buddy, Wink's revenge or not.
Hopefully not, right?
That's right.
But looking at the couple picks leading up to the Ravens pick, so we got, of course, Stingley off the board to the Jets. Kayvon Thibodeau went to the Seahawks. Drake London to the Washington Commanders. Jordan Davis to the Vikings. Charles Cross, offensive tackle, to the Texans. So we are sitting at pick number 14 right now, and we have a couple of interesting names on the board right now. A couple notable ones that a lot of people have been talking about, maybe, speculating going to the Ravens drafting this guy. Trevor Penning is up there. We've got Jermaine Johnson. So we've got offensive tackle and edge right there. Two of our biggest needs, I would say. And then we've also got it's a couple guys down the list here. If we wanted to make a splash, sign like a wide receiver. We have no wide receivers, over 6 feet, other than Rashad Bateman now. So who knows? Maybe they make a splash there. But what do you guys think the Ravens should do at this very spot right now at pick number 14?
Well, I go ahead, Alex.
I think no debate. Jermaine Johnson. Maybe depending how much. Maybe if Thibodeau really did fall to 9, I would hope the Ravens called them. If he fell, I would hope they call. But I think Jermaine Johnson right now.
Yeah, even Charles Cross, if he was on the board, like I'm going to be on with Ken McCusick draft night. If Charles Cross was on the board at 12, I would be making calls to see if I could get up and make sure he didn't get snatched up. But yes, I'm with Alex. Jermaine Johnson is actually number 8 on my big board, my Raven-centric big board. I have no quarterbacks or anything like that on our board. So I would say Jermaine Johnson, or like if you could scroll down, Sutton, I don't know if we're getting any trade offers. The other option is to get 2 of these guys. So that's what makes trading down kind of like, if think about it. Would you rather have Jermaine Johnson, or would you rather have, say, Karlaftis and Booth? You know what I mean? Like it's a good draft for trading down. I know fans don't want to hear that, but that would be the other option at this point, just to point it out. So,
yeah, I mean, I can definitely agree with what you're saying there. For me personally, and I see a lot of people in the chat saying, this is kind of like a no-brainer. Get Jermaine Johnson with this pick. I agree there. I really like Jermaine Johnson, and the tape that I watched on him, I saw a lot of versatility in his pass rush moves, and I saw relentlessness, and some good bend too. So like that is what I want, as a running mate for Odafe Owe. Me personally, like edge rusher is not just a need, it's also a really big want too. I want to have 2 scary edge rushers on both sides of the football that quarterbacks have to worry about play in and play out, So for me, I'm going Jermaine Johnson with this pick.
There you go.
If we could have traded up, I think I would have traded up for Cross. Now thinking about it, getting a tackle, I think in the first round, say it was Cross, I'd be over the moon. I really would, because we're now it kind of maybe would ease out of what's going with Stanley. We wouldn't have to rush him back like we did last year. And I saw today that the Vikings are listening to picks for the number 12. So we could have always moved it to 12. Maybe could have gotten him, but I'm there with you. If we got Jermaine Johnson, I'd be happy too. So I'm cool with it.
Yeah, on Cross, I mean, this is a guy who's ready to play, and his specialty is protecting the passer.
Yeah.
So you can put him anywhere, and he'll protect the passer. And within the 5 years, when you draft these guys, you have control of them for 5 years. There's no doubt that guy will pay dividends on your line. And Jermaine Johnson, the reason I have him in my top 10 is because I think he would pair perfectly with Owe. Jermaine can play the strong side. He can play the rush end. He's the best run stuffer probably of any edge in this class. He's real long, and his eyes are really good. And anybody that follows me know that eyes and instincts are my number 1, guys. Like, it makes you play faster than your 40 time and your 3-cone time. If you can see things first and move, like Ed Reed was a 4.5 guy, almost 4.6, and he was the fastest guy on the field at all times. That's because of his brain, man. It's football. So Jermaine Johnson obviously is a safe pick and a good pick. Georgia player that went to Florida State and blew up. He can set the edge and he can pressure your quarterback. So, yeah, I love Jermaine.
Okay, yeah. So we'll go ahead and we'll just draft him. We're going to take him here, the 14th pick, and we're going to let it keep on rolling here. And, of course, we don't have any more first-round picks, but...
Wow. 3 quarterbacks already in the first round.
I know.
I'd
I'm
be
just kind of
surprised.
looking at what's going on here. Yeah.
They shouldn't go, but I don't know if I'll ever be surprised when a quarterback gets taken. It seems like they reach every year, doesn't it?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do. They do. But it's like nobody wants to miss out on the next big quarterback, the next big thing. If you can get him cheap for those first 4 or 5 years, then, a lot of teams will be willing to take that risk, I feel like. But let's see what we got here. So we are at pick number 45. In the second round now. We've already addressed edge rusher, but let's just take a look and review some other things that happened at the end of the first round and into the second after the Ravens' first round pick. So we see Chris Olave, a couple notable names. Chris Olave to the Eagles. Getting Jalen Hurts some help there.
I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that too. Trevor Penning, any surprise that he would fall to 22? Do you think he would fall to 22?
If it was me, he would, but I keep seeing him in the top 10. And, sometimes you have to defer to those guys because they're the ones in the Rolodex talking to the GMs and stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't see him as anywhere close to the top 3 guys. I think he's closer to the guys that come after him than he is a Charles Cross. But, again, a left tackle and one that you would draw up in the lab with his 6'7" frame and his nastiness. So he could go anywhere for me, but I'm not as high on Penning as I see some of the experts. So,
Okay. Now,
I'd be
guys,
surprised, I think, if McDuffie fell to 23, because I've been seeing him as like his stock has been boosted over this past week. It feels like I've been seeing him with like the Ravens sometimes. So
Let's see.
yeah.
Are there any names on here that you guys are seeing that you really wanted the Ravens to go after?
I personally was hoping Ojabo would be there at 45. Personally, but since we got an edge, I'm not really too worried about it in round one. I'm not really like gonna. Well,
I'm looking at Petrie. I was going to say, Alex, that's the guy right there, safety. But don't let the safety fool you. He's also a slot cornerback. There's really not much difference at the college level, so you could play him with Marcus and Marlon, and Chuck and Marcus Williams. He would fit right in. Yeah, I liked him.
Jalen Petrie. Okay. Yeah. All right, so I'm looking at what we're seeing here at pick number 45. Now, 3 picks ago, my favorite edge rusher in this class, Arnold Ebiketie, was taken off of the board. I want to kind of get your take on Arnold Ebiketie because I made a whole video about the guy. I thought he might be the perfect fit for the Ravens, but what say you about this guy?
Man, he looks like a Raven to me. He just does, doesn't he? Something that's probably why you like him. Just the overall eye test, he looks like what we want. He's like a little short, but that's about the only thing you can say for him. And really, height doesn't matter because his arms are long as hell. He has the ability to play strong side, weak side like Jermaine Johnson. He's a guy that reminds me a little bit of Tyus Bowser, but he's just quicker. He's just quicker. And if we had a do-over and do that again, he'd be a guy I'd be willing to give up one of them fourths to go up and get. I mean, 2 edge picks back to back might not seem great, but I mean, there would be a place for all 3 of them to play, all 4 of them to play. We rotate our front 7 a lot anyway. But yeah, I'm glad you had our Ebiketie fans, Sutton. I actually had someone on last night in my channel, Gabe Ferguson, who's like, he has him above Trayvon Walker. He thinks that, no chance the Ravens will take him at 14, but that's how high he has him ranked.
Wow. Okay.
And speaking of Tyus Bowser, he looks healthy. I don't know if you saw that video of him today. He's not even working with no crutches, no boot, no nothing.
I saw that. I was like, wait a minute. Didn't you just have surgery, bro?
Literally.
Bro. And
that was happened in January. We're in April now. So that was a nice little.
And Alex, did you notice how he stopped and then took off on it and he wasn't even thinking? I'm sitting here analyzing a walking into the building video. I need help. You know what I mean?
I've been of course, we got hit with another injury in the last game of the season. And of course, it was Bowser who led us in sacks last year, but he's looking good. So I'm just, thank gosh. Nice little relief.
Yeah.
So these guys, Sutton, I was going to say, Perion Winfrey is their top guy. He is pretty much, in my opinion, your last call for a 3 tech, which is what Matabike plays. It's that guy that goes against the guard, your prototypical defensive lineman. That would be Perion Winfrey. You see his size there, 300 pounds. 6'4", very quick. He's an athletic beast who my knock on him is I don't think he sees the play really well. He's one of those guys that plays really well in practice but can't find the ball real quick. And then the other options right there, Quay Walker, prototypical Mike, who I think can play on third down too. So if you want someone to pair with Patrick Queen and be a middle linebacker of the future, that's him. Tyler Smith at Tulsa. Lot to like about him. He's one of our friend Skeptic Goat's favorite players in this draft. If you guys know Skep, his problem is his hands. Basically, he keeps them down by his hips and wide, and it's just it's very uncommon for someone who's played any kind of football to not have their hands up and ready. You can't blame it on the coaching all because it's all his teammates are doing it, and the guy's been in college. It's who keeps their hands down by their side and wide. So he's got a ton of penalties. But he is his feet are like McCary's and his temperament is like Trevor Penning's. So if you want a a bully that could probably play guard for you this year too. That's him. A lot of people might like Christian Harris better than Walker. I don't. I love Trey Walker. So yeah, that looks like it's according to this board who they would have as our top guys. So any kind of feedback on that?
I was gonna see, can you scroll down a little bit? Who
Yeah.
else is there? Maybe I'm not too sure. Okay,
Travis Jones. Whoa, okay. Scratch that Perion Winfrey. I'm sure there's a lot of Travis Jones fans in the chat too. That's a big SOB right there, man.
6'4", 325. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Interior D line. Now, a lot of people have been trying to say that, the reason why Jordan Davis is so valuable is because not only is he good at stopping the run, he actually has some pass rush ability playing that position as well. And we've seen how important that can be, just from look at guys like Aaron Donald, right? Is able to get pressure playing that position. So do you think that the Ravens should try to go ahead and invest this second round pick in an interior D lineman?
Well, if you want pass rush, you're probably looking at Winfrey. But if you want just a dominant player who has pass rush potential, that's Travis Jones. I have Travis Jones higher on my personal board just because he is much like Jordan Davis. He's not a sack master, but he's a guy that you need to double team. If you don't double team him, he's going to take these little centers that exist today in these outside zone schemes and just put them right back in your quarterback's lap. So it's a stylistic thing. I don't know. I don't. That's a good call. I mean, maybe you guys or whoever's in the chat would make the call, but I like Travis Jones better than Winfrey. I'm surprised he's that low on the thing.
Yeah, I'm personally looking at there's like no defensive backs or cornerbacks. I'm still kind of sitting here, maybe like I still am a little leery about who our cornerback 3 is right now, and I don't see anybody on this board right now that I would possibly take right here.
Well, if you scroll down, I saw Roger McCreary, I believe.
Okay.
Where is he?
I go up a little bit. I saw him. It was high 50s.
High 50s. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, there he is. So McCreary, well-known college player. You can see him banging with Jamar Chase in practice, giving him a hard time. He's one of those guys that has up and down tape, but he can play in the slot. You see his size, 5'11", 190. So he's quick enough, good enough. He's experienced. He can play in the slot. He's got a lot of wins on tape and a lot of losses on tape. So he's kind of a polarizing figure. But you talk about SEC, who's banged against some of the best receivers and pro receivers now. Yeah. That's your guy. He's got a lot of dog in him, and he's not going to back down. So that would be your corner if you want to go that route. So it's a pretty good choice right here. The Ravens would be in a good spot. George Pickens, kind of hard to ignore that guy, man.
There is people in the chat talking about Pickens as well.
Really? Yeah. Dude, he's a monster.
So, I mean, Alex, let me ask you.
Yeah.
For at this pick right now, I mean, and I see even people talking in the chat about, hey, we released Miles Boykin, we need a replacement, a wide receiver, that sort of thing. Would you rather go with a George Pickens right now, or would you rather go with a Roger McCreary? Because we need DB even more.
Then again, I'm thinking I even said that like an interior rush as well. I'm still kind of leery about that. I mean,
between those three,
so many needs. I mean,
let us know what you guys think in the chat too.
Anybody offer us a trade or no? No trade offers right now?
I didn't see any in here. No.
That's strange because usually I thought they gave you trades every darn time, man. It seemed like. I guess not, huh?
I guess, there's this button right here, and I think that's just if you, you got to be a premium user for that.
See, they want that dough, bro.
Yeah. But me personally, I'm leaning more towards a Roger McCreary here, We went and we got edge rusher. We addressed edge rusher in the first round, and I think it was an amazing pick. Jermaine Johnson, I think that is going to be huge. If
I'd be happy with that.
I'd be very happy. I'd be very happy with that, especially with us getting a lot of pieces back on our defensive line. Calais Campbell returning. Derek Wolfe might be making a return as well. He didn't play at all last season, so maybe with those guys coming back. Say again.
Is there any Tyler Smith fans in the chat? Does anybody know anything about this cat? Because he's got all the physical tools, man. He's just, like I said, his form needs to be his pass protection needs to be torn down and built back up. Like there's no two ways about it. But if you want a backup for Ronnie, who's obviously a better prospect than Cleveland and Phillips ever were, you got Kevin Zeitler moving on next year probably. So he could be a long-term answer at either tackle or guard, depending what happens with, everything on the line. But like as far as like he's got the man body already, man, Tyler Smith, and that nasty in him. So he's kind of like, I like him just about as much as I like Penning. Same kind of problems, you know what I mean? But Tyler's the better athlete who just needs. He's just his technical skills are puzzling. Like I said, it's just like you don't see many players on the college level, especially ones listed like this, who have no idea what they're doing with their hands. He's just that dominant of a physical specimen. So yeah, man, I was just wondering if anybody had any love for him in the comments, in the chat, or anything.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong though, fellas. We're in a nice spot here.
Yeah, it's looking like it. I mean, I see a lot of people in the chat actually talking about Pickens.
Yeah, and actually, somebody asked you, Jason, how do you feel about Tyler Linderbaum? They asked that, like specifically to you. How do you feel about him?
Well, I think that he will fit. I think all this system, he doesn't fit in our system. He's not a system fit. I think some of that is overblown because he can block and he can execute any kind of block. So I don't care if, he primarily runs zone. His problem is that I think his ceiling is limited in the pros. He's short, he's light, he's short armed. There's going to be some guys like a Travis Jones that he goes up against that he's just not going to be able to handle physically, and he's going to need help. So when you're talking about centers, think about this. You rarely see them drafted in the first round unless they're good like Linderbaum. You don't see them get paid, and the reason is they have more help on the football field than any other position. Everybody else is on their own, but the center's got guards that are helping him on these combo blocks and everything. So it's not that I don't like Linderbaum. He would just be a guy I'd be looking for at like the end of the first. You know what I mean? I wouldn't spend we don't pick 14th very often. So I wouldn't spend it on a center. If we're not willing to pay centers and we're not willing to draft centers, and we've had, Jensen, 6th round pick, McCary, UDFA, Bozeman, 6th round pick, and those guys all played well.
UDFA,
why spend a first on Linderbaum? That's kind of where it's nothing against him. I think some of the negatives people take are blown out of proportion, but yeah, man, you got to know the value. So,
okay.
Thanks for the question. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's actually another one in here for you as well. This one coming from Jonathan Washington Jr. It says, question for Huddle It Up Films. Which 2nd or 3rd round tackle do you see as a potential good fit for Baltimore? Kennard, Falele, or Tyler Smith? I'm thinking you're leaning towards Tyler Smith, aren't you?
I am. And just a note on the other two, Kennard, very good physical specimen, but he gets off balance a lot. He's like this on the football field where he gets his pads over his knees and he can be out of position. I think Kennard is more of a guard. He's listed at tackle, but he reminds me of Leatherwood from last year, if you guys remember him.
Yeah.
Big, long, a little bit sloppy in his overall play, but he'll play somewhere on the line. And then Falele, man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. He's got a high ceiling and a low floor. So that's kind of risky for me. I don't know.
All right. So we are still at this pick. We got to make a decision to
we're
move
past
on.
the time limit.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
You're good.
But that's what mocks are for. No. That's what mocks are for.
Yeah.
You know, we want to be able to take our time. But so if Alex, I'm gonna start with you. If we had to go with somebody right here, right now, who are you taking?
My mind says a lineman or a corner, but my heart is now saying receiver just because I see everybody saying Pickens, but I truly believe that a corner or a lineman. That's just me.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Lamar can throw if nobody's protecting him. Honestly, that's where I'm going to stay at.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
Jason, you?
I was going to say, I'm looking at my big board and I have Travis Jones the highest, but since we just kind of addressed the defensive line with the first pick, I'm thinking either McCreary or Josh or Kyler Gordon, if anybody likes Kyler Gordon, another good corner I didn't mention. I have McCreary a little higher just because of his pedigree. But Gordon, I thought he would test better. Testing hurt him. If he would have ran faster, he would be up there with the rest of the guys. But he played with McDuffie, opposite McDuffie. And, man, when you try to watch some of them Washington games, they barely try to target either one. It's so funny, man. They have two studs. Usually it's the other guy on the other side getting picked on because this NFL first rounders on the one side. But, yeah, they were hopeless against Washington, man. So, Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards McCreary, or
Yeah,
Tyler Smith.
yeah. Honestly, I'm leaning towards McCreary. Just considering,
I'm there with you.
where our cornerbacks
Auburn.
room is right now. Yeah, out of Auburn. Um, we definitely need some more insurance there, right? And another thing too, cornerback is a position that is becoming more and more and more of a premium. I mean, you guys just saw what Denzel Ward got today,
100 mil.
right?
100
Yeah,
mil.
yeah. So it's like it's one of those positions where you're gonna have to hit on your picks, your draft picks, because you want to get those guys on cheap deals until, they ain't gonna be on cheap deals no more.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Roger McCreary here. You guys good for me to lock that one in? Is the official pick? Our pick?
I'm cool
I'm
with
good.
that.
I
Now,
like it.
somebody asked, can we trade back into the second? Is that
Oh
possible?
yeah.
Because if so, I mean, I would love to go back into the second because there's just who's left. I mean,
Yeah, I mean you are right. You are right. There's
but
a
is it
lot
the
of names
premium
here.
thing that we
It
have to
is. It
get?
is. Right. It
Okay.
is. It is. Yeah.
I guess we are in
Um.
agreement that if we could trade back in the second, we would try to.
Yeah.
I would say like at least 5 spots. I would be willing to go 5 spots because you got to figure one of those 3 or 4 guys are going to be there. Well, almost mathematically they have to be. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
yeah, like you could even make a trade back for like 5, 6, 7 spots and still get one of the guys we're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah,
My guy King here says we need to trade all those fourth round picks for an extra second. Real talk.
all right. Let's see if we can trade up with our next pick if we're able to. I'm not sure how the thing works.
Yeah, I don't think it'll let us do like any trade ups at all in this particular
Okay.
mock draft. Yeah, actually wasn't aware of that, but I think it let us do it last year. They must have just started doing this like
Yeah.
trial thing. Anyway,
Money.
Money.
yeah, I know, right? But I mean, yeah, after what Jason is saying, what you guys are saying in the chat, what Alex is saying, I'm thinking there's a lot of talent here in the second round. So I
Yes.
totally agree with King. All those fourth round picks, that needs to be the F them picks round for the Ravens, like bunch a couple of those together and move back up and get one of these talented guys. Hell, I don't care if it's a George Pickens. You move back up to get another pick in the second round to get him.
If you think
It's-
they can have an immediate impact on this team, I'm all for
Yeah,
it. 1,000,000%.
it.
Especially like we said with Boykin now gone. I mean, we're going to draft a receiver. I personally believe now that kind of is set in stone for me. If he's there,
Why not? But we will go ahead and pick up Roger McCreary and let it keep on rolling. While it is, let's see, we got my guy Hoodie Ramey in the building. Says,
Hey.
yo, what's going on, Ramey? Appreciate you for coming through. Hoodie Ramey says, who was number 14? So we got Jermaine Johnson, edge rusher. So, addressing that spot. I mean, because like I say all the time on this podcast, guys, this league, the NFL, is a hit and not get hit league. Like, you got to be able to hit the other team's quarterback, and you got to be able to protect your quarterback from not getting hit. Like, that's what it boils down to at the end of the day. So I think that addressing, number 14 with an edge rusher, especially of Jermaine Johnson's caliber, I think that's a pretty good pick, and I think the guys were in agreement.
and it's funny because Jonathan Washington just asked Jason if there's a scenario where we add a safety in the mid rounds. Nick Cross from Maryland is an interesting player as he just goes at number 75 right before we pick.
Ooh.
Man, Mr. Washington, maybe that's the sign, though, Jonathan. Maybe that's a sign that come draft day, we're looking at him since you just brought him up and then he just got picked. I mean, the only thing that would hold me back is the fact that the safety room is probably the deepest one we have.
Yeah.
And like with different kinds of dudes, too. Like Marcus Williams is your guy that takes the back end. Geno Stone takes the back end. Then you got Chuck Clark and Tony Jefferson in the strong safety role. So yeah, it's a good room. It's a good room, but yeah, I like Nick Cross for sure.
Also in the safety room too, Ardarius Washington. I was his biggest fan. I wish he got more game time last year before he got hurt, but hopefully we see more of him this year.
Yeah, I think we held on to him for a reason, Alex. I really do.
I like the way you think.
A
Same
lot
way
of
we got
people,
Geno Stone back. I was so mad when we let him go the first time. I was upset. I'm happy he's
and
back.
I wanted to say also that from people that were out there at training camp, not the reporters, but like members of the flock, they were looking at Ardarius in that slot corner role. So I think a lot of people still look at him as a safety, but he might be our new Tavon Young with that body type and all that other stuff. The ball skills, the body type, the fight hard kind of guy. So he might be alternating with Brandon Stevens, say. You know what I mean? Big receiver in there. We go Stevens, little receiver in there. We go Washington. Match them up kind of like what we did with Averett and Jimmy.
Okay, I like that.
I could see that too.
I like that.
Yeah. All right. So we are currently now sitting at the 76th pick. The Ravens are, and looking at kind of the team needs thing here, I think this is kind of interesting as well. It's saying that of course we already addressed edge, we already addressed corner, interior D line, interior O line, offensive tackle, wide receiver, running back, tight end, safety, and linebacker are the remaining needs for the Ravens. Now, what do you guys make of that? What do you guys think at this position, at this spot, with the picks we've already drafted? What do you think we do now? Where do we go from here?
I'll let you go first, Jason.
Well, I'm still worried about Ronnie. I'm still worried about Ronnie, and to me, I would scroll down and see if a guy like Rasheed Walker or somebody was there. Ooh, see, they went fast, bro. They went fast.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
Rasheed Walker's still there though. He's still there.
They got him ranked a little lower. So yeah, I mean, maybe if he's ranked lower, we can go for our second pick. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe we can cheat the system a little bit and know he's going to be there. Try to wait on the tackle and get one of those other players. But yeah, I'm a little nervous about that. And then with the needs listed, it seems like they just listed all the positions that are exist. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, their needs are everything. So
Yeah. I mean, you're right there. I mean, but I can definitely agree. Going with an offensive tackle just to have some insurance at that position would be, beneficial for the Ravens. It would be in their best interest because we don't, like you said, man, we're all worried about Ronnie Stanley. We don't know. Like we thought going into last season he was going to be ready to go. We knew he was still dealing with a little something. Came into the Raiders game. After that game, we never saw him again.
No.
So it's like we can't get our hopes up with this guy. And as unfortunate as it is, that's just what it is right now. He's dealing with something, an injury that is more serious than, we were led on to believe. And that happens sometimes.
And also, Sutton, I mean, just think about it. What's the one position that if we get bad play on, aside from quarterback, of course, but what's the one position that can derail our season the fastest? Like you just said, it's about hitting the quarterback and not getting your quarterback hit. Like if we have bad play at some spot on defense, we can alter the scheme and kind of cover that up or blitz less or blitz more. But if your left tackle is bad, I mean, we saw it last year. It's hard to overcome that. All of a sudden, Pat Ricard's in the game for 2/3 of the snaps, basically playing tackle. And
that was not fun.
So I'm scared. I'm scared. Petit Ferrer, their number one tackle, by the way, he played left tackle at a high level at Ohio State, but for whatever reason, they kept moving him from right to left tackle, and he didn't do well as a right tackle. He was one of those guys that was like left tackle only. So a big school guy with some good tape in the Big Ten. I mean, I like him too. Rasheed Walker's just kind of one of my favorites.
Yeah, Rasheed Walker is definitely an interesting one. Also went to Penn State. Knows Odafe Owe really well. We went to the same high school, me and Rasheed Walker.
Really?
Yeah. He's a little younger than me, but we went to the same high school, which is pretty cool.
Tell him I said hello, all right?
Yeah, we may have him on the show one day. Who knows, But let's see. All right. So we got to make a decision, guys. Again, what do the Ravens do? Alex, what do you want the Ravens to do with this pick? Let me know.
I'm offense here. I'm offense.
So we're going 100%. Offense. All right, we got that out
personally,
the way.
that's how I feel offense.
Let's help Lamar.
I mean, we got 2 picks on defense, so yeah, I feel that.
Now here, do you necessarily automatic just offensive tackle or? And Jason, here's where I want to get your insight. Let's take a look at the wide receivers that are available at this point in the draft. Do you think that the Ravens go ahead and grab another young stud wide receiver that might still be available?
I do, man. And I love Mechie, but then you're not getting this year from him. So it's like, do you really? Because he tore his whatever it was he tore knee. I think it was an ACL. So if you get Mechie, man, he lost some money with that injury because I think he would have been definitely a second rounder in this draft. Mechie's the real deal, but you would only get him for 3 years probably. This year would be a wash. Tolbert is a high upside, low floor guy. You see how thin he is. He's like 6'3", 190. So he might be one of those guys that has a hard time getting off a press. Kyle Phillips, not a big fan of him. Now he comes from a Chip Kelly offense. So his numbers are inflated. If you guys know anything about Chip Kelly, it's just a bunch of passing, barely running the ball. He's not very an athlete, slot only. Wandale Robinson, I think he could top out as like or floor. His floor is like Duvernay. Like maybe
Yeah, I
he's
was
not
thinking.
gadget guy at the worst, but he's good after the catch. Alex Pierce out of Cincinnati is probably Alec Pierce, probably my. Well, I have Mechie higher, so it's tough, bro. It's tough. Actually, with all those guys, I'll probably if we want to take a receiver, I'd probably do it with the next pick, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay. Now, do you guys think that it is important for the Ravens, if they are going to bring in any wide receiver in this draft, for that wide receiver to be a specific frame, so big body type guy, because we really don't have much of that in our receiving core? Do you think that is true?
Yeah, I personally think so. I mean, if we're talking about a red zone target, I think as much as I love
Yeah.
Hollywood, I mean, for a red zone target, he's not really what that he is one. I'd say. I mean, it'd be more than a Bateman. I think is more of a red zone target. I mean, Boykin was one as well. I mean, when we got inside the 20, he was getting some passes. Lamar would find him. So that's what I'm looking for. Is a big body guy who you throw the ball over a defender, you know he's going to get it.
Okay.
Yeah, and Pierce, man, he's got some skills, bro. You might want to click on him because he's a big. He plays big. I want to say he's like 6'2", 6'3".
6'3".
Yeah, he plays bigger than that though, man. He's kind of a fearless dude that can play the slot and go over the middle. He's got some speed on him too, so he's interesting too. But again, like these guys are so close that maybe now would not be the time. You know what I mean? Maybe pick 100 is where we go get one of these guys.
Yeah. Okay. So just looking at maybe one other interesting position that the Ravens might want to pick up on, linebacker. Linebacker. Let's take a look
Yeah.
at the linebackers available at this point. Jason, what are you seeing here? Which of these guys can make an immediate impact on the Ravens?
Well, I think Muma can. I think Asamoah can. If you want a more of a Mike, like a Josh Bynes type, that's Beavers. He's a big dude, a two-down thumper like a Malik Harrison. He could actually have some experience on the edge and covering tight ends too. Troy Anderson is the wild card. That guy is a freak athlete like Isaiah Simmons we saw, but he played for Montana State. And when you looked at him versus the other guys, it was a mismatch. Like he didn't belong on the field. So, I mean, just a serious athlete. 6'4", 233, and I think he ran into 4.4s, fellas. So you're looking at like a ridiculous athlete with Troy Anderson, but unknown. You know what I mean? You really don't know, and he's never played anybody on his level.
That is one thing that would concern me. Now, we do know the Ravens, they really do love stockpiling that defense with players who are speed guys, So one of the reasons that they went out and they got Patrick Queen a couple years back, he was the lightning to what I thought was going to be Malik Harrison's thunder, but we really never got to see that pan out, at least just not yet. So with that being said, we are kind of in the market for a linebacker right now. Now, at this pick, we've looked at linebacker, offensive tackle, and wide receiver. So let's just narrow it down to one position. For me, I would probably go offensive tackle here.
I agree. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. I'm probably going to go offensive tackle here. And I might have to go with my guy, Rasheed Walker. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I mean, I love him. I have him and Petit Ferrer right next to each other.
Yeah.
Abe Lucas is a little bit different. He came from another pass-heavy system, and he's got some work to do. So if you want to proven talent from the Big Ten, that's either Petit Ferrer or Walker. And Walker's my positional favorite. So you're not hurting my feelings over here.
All right, cool. All right, we'll go ahead and take him. All right, so that is.
Yeah, we got one
third
more
round.
pick.
Yeah, one more pick. I was waiting on.
So what are you thinking need-wise? Is this bonus time? You just take the BPA now because we covered a lot of needs? How are you guys feeling?
Yeah, I mean, you can see here we've got edge out the way, cornerback, offensive tackle. Those were the three biggest needs that we talked about going into this draft. So now, I don't want to say BPA per se, but it kind of feels that way. But if I had to go with a position right here, I'm probably going to go ahead and address that interior D-line. Let's try to get younger there, no?
I'm right there with you. Or I know the Ravens love to double dip with positions.
Okay.
If a good interior lineman was there on the offensive side too, I would take it depending who was there. But I'm not against the interior D line because Calais Campbell isn't getting any younger. I think it's just a
Nope.
1 year deal, so we have to think about life after him because he's not going to keep on coming back signing these deals. Michael Pierce, he said this is his last contract and he's retiring. So I would like to get young there as well. So I'm right there with you with interior D line too.
So I'm curious about the IOL because Cole Strange can play center, and that's a guy good enough to where he could compete with McGarry. I'm not sure what other centers are still available. So, the Ravens actually are going to pick 1010 something too because we got an early fourth. So again, man, this is like whatever we pick, you might want to make it last call to get this guy kind of pick. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because we're going to be able to address like all these guys are going to be available like 5 or 6 picks from now whenever we pick next. So yeah, starting
Yeah,
centers
good point.
there. You could go back to Hayden Hurst type ball. I mean, Greg Roman has his detractors, but he's going to put tight ends out on the field. So if
Yeah.
you want to Hayden Hurst, there you go. There's 2 guys that could play that role. It's funny to see the punter on the board that early.
He must be an amazing punter. But
He
anyway.
is. He is. If you've ever seen this guy, like I would target him, and I might even take a 4th, 5th, 6th rounder on him because he's literally kicking balls from his own 10 and putting them in the end zone, the other end zone. Like it's generational
Jesus.
type stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Generational punter.
Generational punter with
John
leg
Harbaugh
strength.
is salivating right now.
I mean,
Absolutely.
dude, if you think about it, people make fun of our 4th round picks all the time. But if you get Sam Cook, if you could have took Sam Cook in the 4th round back in the day, would you think that would be worth it instead of like some other guy who might bust out?
Compared to what we've taken the past couple of years, hell yeah. I
Right.
mean,
So it's not too crazy, is I guess what I'm saying, But you wouldn't take him here for sure, not in the 3rd round.
Yeah, but I mean, I like what you were saying, Jason, about how we're gonna have a slew of picks coming up here in just a few more picks, right? So right now it's kind of like a last call. This guy's not gonna be there the next round, you know.
Right.
So what guy is that for you, based off of what you see right now and what we've already picked?
All right. Well, let's scroll down a little bit, Sut. Let's see
Yeah.
what we got. Yeah. This is the part where they start looking the same. Yeah, they have a lot of running backs and positions we don't need.
Hmm.
yeah.
Who else is in that receiver room?
Oh, let's check and see.
We got our guy Pierce there. I saw.
Oh yeah, Alec Pierce is in there.
Yeah,
I mean, 6'3" guy, 213. Like you said, he plays bigger than his frame.
and he's a big slot.
Yeah, fearless guy. I wouldn't mind that.
Okay, what about if we want to add a D tackle, man? Let's go to IDL. See if we got anybody in the interior of the defensive line. Okay, so Matthew Butler can do a little bit of everything for you. I don't see a superstar there. John Ridgeway, he is an extremely strong player. Would be a guy like a nose tackle only.
Mm-hmm.
So slim pickings on the D line, bro. Like that just goes to show you a lot of positions are deep. Interior D line is not one. So we were looking at Winfrey. Like you learn your lessons. You know what I mean? Like maybe with that 2nd pick next time, it makes Winfrey look a little better because you see what it looks like 1 round later.
Right. Yeah. And that's like that's the thing about the draft, man. It's like you invest in one position, but like another position still has needs as well, and it's like you can't have everything you want, and it's that's where it can be tricky. But at this point, interior D line is a position that the Ravens do need to get younger at, like my guy Alex was saying. So I wouldn't mind taking a chance on one of these guys at this point. But if there are other players in other positions that are better and can impact the Ravens, faster, then I'd be down to go ahead and grab those guys. One of those. So.
I mean, I hope if there is a guy that we do fall in love with, that's when the 4th
Yeah.
rounders come in like, okay, well, we can move up and go and get him, which I wouldn't hate.
Let's see.
Let's see the all. I would okay. Yeah, let's scroll down a little bit, see if there's any hidden gems down there.
I've seen Wandale
There's
Robinson.
My
up
J.
there
Look at
for a
My J.
minute.
Sanders, bro. If you
Huh.
want to double up on the edge, my goodness, I can't believe he's rated that low.
What about this guy?
My J,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
well, yeah,
that's him.
yeah. Like, what else have you heard about him? Like,
He's I think he has a really high floor and a decent ceiling. He's not going to be a superstar, but
okay,
if you look at just somebody who can play the edge at a higher level than Jalen Ferguson and McPhee, I mean, this guy can do it. You know what I mean? He's the real
right.
deal. You see him 6'5", 240. So that
Mhm.
tells you he can be dropped in coverage. He's not one of these oversized guys. Can play the strong side or the weak side. I liked him a lot. I think a lot of people in the chat would be surprised to see him ranked so low. I got my J all the way up in the 50s on my board. So,
Okay.
but
Okay.
yeah, but I don't know if you want to double up on edge. Like Alex said, we tend to do it, but
Uh,
yeah.
I mean, do you foresee this guy coming in and being like an immediate impact kind of guy though? Because if not, then I'd rather go elsewhere
Yeah.
with
I mean,
this
because
pick.
King just brought up, we do have Jalen Hayes still.
Yeah.
If Tyus Bowser does come back healthy, and then they were just talking of Malik Harrison being put out as a outside linebacker, like, and possibly an
Yeah.
edge. I saw it too.
Right.
Interesting.
I kind of like the center too. Cole Strange would not be a bad deal, and maybe a guy like Jurgens is there with him, or a Dylan Parham maybe still be available.
Yeah.
Did Cole Strange go? Oh, it's okay.
No, he's up here. He's up here.
Yeah, so
Cole
if you want a starting center, he's there too. So he
Now,
might be
that I
worked in.
like. Yeah. I like Cole Strange. I like that idea. Getting a starting center for sure.
I would be cool with that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not the sexy pick, but at the end of the day, I think it makes us a better team.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to protect Lamar, and he also has guard experience.
Right.
So
And
if something happens with Ben Cleveland or Phillips, and they're not working out, he could be the best guard on your team too.
And that also makes Makari back to being that flexible guy where you can
Yeah.
just kind
Right.
of plug and play him
Six
anywhere.
man.
Six
Yup.
man, right? Exactly. So, I mean, I'm all for that. That makes total
Yeah.
sense to me. You guys
I'm
good
cool
with that? All
Like I
right.
said, it's not sexy, but I
I
like
mean,
it.
but yeah,
There ain't no sexy names at this point, though. You gotta.
yeah. All right. So that will do it for this draft. Let me see if it'll let me do a. This is weird. User picks. Here we go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Why they gotta put that thing up there?
Right, yeah. Why are they gonna go and do that? It's crazy. Anyway, so you guys can see 14th pick, we picked Jermaine Johnson, edge out of Florida State. 45th pick, we went with Roger McCreary, cornerback out of Auburn. 76th pick, we went with Rasheed Walker, offensive tackle out of Penn State. And then with the 100th pick, we picked Cole Strange, interior O lineman, can play center, starting center. Can go swing the guard as well from Chattanooga. So what do you guys think about this mock draft that my guy Jason and Alex and myself have cooked up? Big shout out to Jason, by the way,
Thank
for all of that insight.
Man, thanks you
That
guys,
was-
man.
No, that was amazing, honestly. Like, we really needed you for this episode. So,
Literally.
I mean,
Yeah, I
look,
learned a
they
lot.
can't complain at us for not helping Lamar. I mean,
Yeah.
we could have had a receiver. We kind of just we got the cornerback instead. But
right.
if we need to build up and build this wall in front of Lamar, this was a good draft, man. We got good value at both tackle and center for not only this year, but the future.
Then
know?
that's what I'm looking at towards too. I mean, if you really want Lamar to resign, it's like, well, what am I going to do to protect you and prolong your career for maybe another contract right there? Keep
Yeah.
him healthy, keep him up.
Yep.
Yeah. I love the Walker pick because, again, the one thing that can derail our season and lower our Super Bowl hopes right away is if Stanley's not back. If he's not back, we're in big trouble, bro. We're back to moving Morgan Moses over to left tackle and McCary at right tackle. Whatever it is, we're not going to be at our best. So I like the
Yeah.
insurance policy there. And Cole Strange gives us somebody better than like a Ben Powers who's in his last year of his deal. So you get to reset the clock. You know what I mean? Instead of a guy being in his last year of his deal, he's in the first year of his deal. He can play center. He can free up McCary, have him battle with Tristan Colon. Thanks, Don. Appreciate that, man. But I think we did good, dude. I really do think we did good.
Like that.
Yeah. Like you said, thanks, Don. Joseph here says, good stuff, fellas. Will you guys be live streaming your draft reactions at all? Yeah, we will. We will. Just like last year, we will be live streaming during the first round, at least, of the NFL draft. And it's not going to be nearly as long as it was last year because we picked like 28th last year, I think.
28.
Yeah.
Now,
So
wait
we're
a
cutting that in
minute.
half this year.
Were you guys covering the 2018 draft by any chance?
No.
No, we did not
Okay,
exist then.
because you would have been kicking yourself if you would have turned in after the
Oh,
Hayden
no.
Hurst pick, and then we
It's
turned
funny.
around and straight back in.
Because I was at the Orioles game that night, and I saw we got Hurst, and I was pissed off. I go back home, I'm in bed. I see we traded back for 32. I get up, and I saw we got Lamar, and I was so happy. Oh,
Me too.
what a day that was.
We also
Yeah.
passed on Derwin James in that draft, which drove me nuts. It drove me nuts. Like I had Derwin James like 2 or 3 or 4 on my board or something. He's sitting there at 16. We trade back, and I'm like, man, maybe we're trading back for a quarterback. And then we pick Hayden Hurst, and then I was ready to break something in the house. And then, an hour later, 2 hours later, we picked Lamar, trade back in, and then I was happy again. And of course, that turned out to be one of the best drafts we've had recently.
Oh, what a draft that was.
Oh yeah, I know, right? Remember it like it was yesterday. But thank you guys so much for watching this episode, this mock draft, man. It was a lot of fun. Learned a lot. I know I learned a lot. I can't speak for everybody, but I learned a whole lot. And that goes shout out to our guy Jason from Huddle It Up Films, who we definitely want to have back on at some point for sure. This has been great. So
Maybe to
the
review
Rain
the
Gang
draft.
is definitely
I'd be with
yeah.
it.
I
I'd be 100%
definitely,
with it.
yeah, for sure. If you're down, Jason, if you want to come back after the draft, we can chop it up then as well. Is that cool?
Yeah, I'm down because this is kind of my thing. It's the draft, and I could tell you how they might possibly fit in, like what their role could be. Because on defense, there's different packages and this and that. So like if we're trying to do X, where would this guy fit in, or that kind of thing? I'd be more than happy. I always got you guys back. Big supporter of Alex and his highlights. And I'm glad, Sutton, I finally got a chance to meet you, man. I just was a
Yes, sir.
casual viewer. So this is great, man.
Yeah, we appreciate you on behalf of me and Alex. We appreciate you on behalf of the Rain Gang as well. We definitely do appreciate you, man. But yeah, I think that's gonna go ahead and do it for this episode of the show, episode 106 of the Purple Rain Podcast. Make sure you guys go ahead and like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and also scroll down, look in the description, click on the link that's going to take you to Jason's channel on YouTube at Huddle It Up Films. I'm sorry, where, like he said in the beginning of the show, it's like plays where it's like film where if you want to get more information on a guy, that's the channel you want to go to, right?
If you want to see the whole play develop,
you want to see the whole play develop, right?
Right there. That's
exactly. Make sure you guys go ahead and check out his channel. Absolutely, man. Us Ravens YouTubers, we got to stick together.
We do.
Yeah.
We do too, man. Coach Evans was just on the channel. I've had Engraven. I mean,
nice.
I know Alex, I know you guys love Engraven. So, man, we stick together, man. We're all one family for sure.
Indeed.
Yeah. And like you said, football is family, man. So, all right. With that being said, I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out for the afternoon. Alex?
Thank you for coming through to episode 106, the mock draft episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. We are, 10 days away, I believe? 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
10 days for you to do all more of your homework, who you want to get, study up, and just get ready for a crazy draft. But until then, as always, stay positive, test negative, and never, ever forget, Sutton, to do what?
Never, ever, ever forget to call God. This has been episode 106 of the Purple Rain Podcast. We're going to catch you guys in the next one.